Hello and welcome to Meet Your Inspiration podcast with Meri and Rich. Here we're talking about inspiration, motivation, and empowerment. Our guests are ordinary people who became extraordinary, and sharing their stories, we want to inspire you to become the person you want to be and to go beyond your dreams.
Today is a little bit different compared to our normal episodes. So we're going to do a little review because we're celebrating 1 year of Beyond Our Dreams, which is really cool. So we're
Happy
really
birthday,
happy.
Beyond
Happy
Our
birthday.
Dreams.
Yay. So we're really happy about that. And the Meet Your Inspiration podcast. So we wanted to tell you a little bit about our journey and how it all started.
And probably some of you know, some not. I'm working in accounts payable, and Richard is working in plastic industries over 30 years.
Yep.
And he is got lots of experience in sales as well. So both of us definitely no experience in media, podcast, interviews, anything. But one thing we had together was the passion about the people around us. And what we end up one day last October on a chat, it was about how obviously we were sharing each other some people that we met. I think we are having quite a few friends in common, and sharing, oh, have you seen that, or specific conversations or people. Back in the time we were reading, both of us, I think,
The Diary of a CEO.
Diary of CEO book.
Yeah.
We like their podcast as well. So from word to word, we come up with the idea, why don't we give a try and just record a few of our friends and give a try to a podcast world.
And the thing is, we know that everyone around us has got a story. But we looked at the people we were thinking about, and to be honest, everyone comes from an ordinary background. It doesn't matter. Most people that you meet in the streets, most people you meet in business, they've got an ordinary background. We realised quickly that some of the people around us who we knew actually had extraordinary businesses, extraordinary stories. So we wanted to share those, and that was our thought process.
Funny enough, don't know anything about it. We start obviously a little bit researches, watching videos, and just scheduling down. I remember my notebook, that was this passion and excitement to talk about my friends around me, where all of them said, obviously I would talk about my close friends, family, they said, Meri, this is your thing. You always admire, you always love to do this. We're sure that it's going to be success. Okay, but how this going to be success? And here I need to say a big thank you to Richard, because without his help and constantly encouragement, probably this excitement would very quickly fall off. But when there is a teamwork, it's much easier to work, isn't it?
It makes such a difference, particularly when you share the same ideas and the thought processes and you want to do it. And particularly, we realised that, first of all, when you're going to start a podcast, you start off with no experience, but you know one thing you need is an audience. So we thought, well, how are we going to grow an audience? So we set up this idea. We thought, well, most of our audience will maybe be from LinkedIn, like because of business people and people we want to inspire. And we had this name Beyond Our Dreams because we thought the whole process was going beyond our dreams. This was our thought. But then, of course, when you look at it and think, well, for the name of the actual podcast, who we wanting to do? We wanted to meet inspirational people, and that then gave us the name Meet Your Inspiration for the podcast. And amazingly, nobody else was using it, so that was it.
And it's very interesting to see how one idea is developing. So we get to learn how to do a website, how to go onto social medias to jump. Obviously, we've got lots to learn, a lot. But going back a year ago, I think we achieved quite a lot. And here is the moment where we definitely had great people around us who support us, help us, advise us. Big shout out to Angel, who was first when we share our idea and give us really good insights. Maggie is constantly next to us, trying to share with us and help us with different advices. Savina is our third musketeer in the team, who is helping us so much. So big shout out, because we do believe, and I can definitely say that without people, you can't achieve. I don't believe in this success that someone on its own go and conquer the world and can do it. No, there is always a bunch of people behind you who believe, who empower, who help you. And this always need to be acknowledged and said loudly.
Absolutely.
I want to share one fun thing because when we start, we wrote, both of us with Richard, we wrote on a list the first names of the people who are inspiration around us and we want to share their stories. Funny enough, how many we've had? 10, 11?
Yeah, I think so.
I think that was the absolutely draft one.
Yeah.
Up to date, we interviewed 3 of them. 3, I think, or 4 said that they didn't think it's right time for them. And all the rest, we never reached to them.
No.
We just didn't need. I mean, they're still on our list, which I'm proud to say that today is 50 people, not 10. And I would say these 50 people are people who want to come to the podcast. So
and that doesn't include the people we've already done.
No, which means
50 new people.
We really like, and obviously this podcast is getting to the people. People are realizing that it's giving you nice insights. And one of the main things we wanted to bring and we will always try to keep it is our authenticity, because you can see lots of podcasts. Actually, I never knew until we start YouTube, and all these medias are full of it. Lots of people are doing it. But one thing that I would say we are different with, first of all, are these stories of these amazing people, where we bring you the people as they are. We don't have script. We don't have anything planned how we'll go. Even the touches of the videos are very slight, because we want to bring as much as we can
just the natural thing.
How the conversation flow, how people share their stories, and you can be successful whatever you decide to do, wherever you go. And you don't need always to have some specific background. It's all about the journey, and we will talk a bit later how lots of our guests already had lots of in common, isn't it?
They did, yeah. Yeah, there was many things. So the next thing is, once we decided what we were doing, so we needed to build our audience. So we used LinkedIn, and we opened up by posting regularly on LinkedIn and sharing things which were inspirational to us, ideas that we had to inspire other people. And we were looking at subjects like well-being. We were looking at leadership. We were looking at mentoring. We were looking at how people can improve their skills, things around training. So there's lots of little ideas when we wanted to sort of to empower people to see the way for their passion. But of course, once you've done that, you realise that you need the equipment. So we needed to go out and decide what we needed. And then we also needed a venue. And that was where the next part of the chapter came. And thank you very much, Hempstead House, which is where we are today. Again, I'd been down here, I'm sort of working down here, and stayed in the hotel many times. We knew through a common colleague, the manager of the hotel. So we approached the manager of the hotel, Mike, and we asked him whether or not we could interview him as one of our first guests. So that was our first thought process. So bless him, he said, well, look, we'd really like to support you. So Hempstead House really supported us right from the very beginning by offering us the venue.
And I want to just add something here. Hempstead House at that stage didn't know at all what we're doing. We didn't have even one episode. We didn't even put all our equipment together. We had the idea, and they've seen our passion. I would say I never met Mike until a long time after everything started. But Richard was the contact with him. And I want to say a big thank you, not only because you're supporting us, but you clearly show how people need to support each other to embrace our idea and to give us such a huge help for us. Absolutely. Using this amazing facility here. All the team is incredible, and being always so supportive for us. That was one of the biggest help that we receive, and it's an ongoing process.
Absolutely. So that then brought us to our first guest. So Mike said, Richard, I'd rather not at this point, but the lady who you need to speak to is Mandy, who's the owner of the hotel, and she's got the most incredible story. So neither Mary or myself had met Mandy. But interestingly enough, we'd been into the hotel, we'd met, and we were discussing things about. So we've been in the hotel a few times. And one time we walked in, there was a lady who was doing the decorating. She was busy painting, I think, skirting board or something. She had the white overalls on. She was painting. And we saw the lady and thought, oh, that's interesting, a little lady there. Like, that's nice, doing the decorating. What an amazing job. Anyway, the morning of the first podcast, she walked in and we looked at her and we went, oh, it's a painting and decorating lady. Hello. So she came in and introduced herself. We had a lovely little chat and we sat down. She sat down in the chair, in the third chair, and there she was. And we asked her one question and she spoke and told us the most incredible story, which is our episode 1, which still remains our number 1 episode still. It's got the most views, and when you listen to that story, you'll know why, because it is such an inspirational story about a lady who was a teacher. She was doing drama teaching drama at school, and she left because she wanted to start. She was starting a family, so she decided to do bed and breakfast from home. So before Airbnb started, that's how she started, and here we are in this incredible hotel. We'd recommend you listen to the first episode.
Having that episode and that conversation, the first one back in February this year,
Yep.
definitely bring us and prove us one thing. Everybody got a story, and every story matters. And definitely you don't even expect what the person gonna sit here will tell you. Her story was very interesting, moving, something you can learn a lot from. Absolutely inspiring. So even if we dream about the first guest, I'm not sure we would, or even if we try to find it, probably we wouldn't.
No.
So Mike done us again another
favor.
Absolutely huge favor. Going forward, of everybody who we contact in the first few months when we were just sharing our idea and like, we think you're going to be good fit for us. What do you think? Would you come? I would say 97% of the people were absolutely amazing in their response, very supportive. Number 2 is something unbelievable. 2 years ago, I've been on an accounts payable conference, and this amazing lady, Keely, was a speaker there, and I fell in love with her by the way she was speaking. And then was the moment that after the conference, I wanted to just go and say, thank you, that was fantastic what you said. She just got the vibes. If you watch the episode, you understand what I talk about. And obviously back in the time I wasn't sure, but I went and make the step. I spoke with her no more than 5 minutes. I exchanged contacts on LinkedIn. This is it. 2024. I just messaged her on LinkedIn explaining our idea and asking her if she would like to be our guest. This woman is mega busy. She's traveling a lot. She's having so many activities. She found the time for a quick team meeting with us to obviously meet Richard. Incredible. And this led us to drive obviously 3-4 hours to her place, head office. And to have this great interview. In the minute we walk in the office,
oh, it was incredible. The people around her. When we came, we introduced ourselves. We said we'd come to interview Keely. We're doing a podcast, and honestly, the whole of our team, all the people knew before we got there what we were going to do, and they were saying, "Oh, it's going to be amazing. She's such an incredible lady," and sure enough, I mean, her passion, her excitement, the way she looks after her team. And when we talk about leadership and mentoring and creating the perfect business culture, she's the epitome of all those things, the way she builds a team. She was the financial director for Soccertech in the UK and doing an incredible job. And then since then, she's been promoted again, and now she's a project director. And Soccertech are global health and safety and construction. They back all the big construction projects around the world. So to have such a high-profile guest as Keely, with her incredible enthusiasm and passion for us, was huge. And she seemed so excited to meet us, as if we were two amazing media presentations, but we certainly weren't.
Yeah, absolutely new interview number 2. Even it was taking us a bit longer to get everything prepared, but Absolutely awesome. This was actually, I can definitely say from point of view of today that all our guests and people who sat here, we know that this is them. They're so authentic.
Yeah.
We visit some of the places they've been. Some of them were actually introduced to us, but here always are sitting people that we trust and believe that
Mhm.
they are absolutely real and they're sharing how they feel. Having all these leaders so far on our podcast helped me to prove to people around me that fantastic leaders with great mindset exist. And this another one that it's definitely episode you should have a look is Lisa from Storm Saver. This company is just incredible what they're doing. Small, I would say, not too many people are in their team, but
But it's growing
actually
fast
it's
now.
growing
Really,
faster
even
and
since we've done the
faster.
interview.
Yes, we
Yeah,
can see that on LinkedIn. But there is so much heart and passion there, and understanding and proper leadership.
absolutely. But here's the thing. So in our own experience, so we go to interview number 3 to interview Lisa. So we sit down, we set everything up, and everything's ready. We know we're set, we're ready to go. We do the interview, and we get to the end of the interview, and we thought there was some issue, but we thought, well, it's just uploading. Maybe there was a problem with the internet. Maybe it was a bit slow. So maybe it would just upload. So we packed everything up, sorted everything up, came back down, drove back, came to do the edit, looked at the interview. It wasn't there. We had literally 20 minutes. So for us, obviously, it was really embarrassing because, like, we'd asked her. In fact, she came out on a Saturday morning, wasn't it? So
It was a
Saturday morning, so
special
she
day
came.
that she
She
came.
came specially into work so we could record this, and obviously we travelled 3 hours, 4 hours back. So then we realised what a mistake we'd made. We didn't realise what it was until afterwards, and then we found out what the technical issue is. So bless her, Lisa agreed that we could go back up again. She made time for us in the week. We went back up and we did the interview again. All the technical issues were resolved and we were able to do it again. And again, that shows sometimes when people are on a journey and when you're learning and you're doing something, things don't always happen as you expect. But you've got to be prepared to try, not to give up, and to show the way. Now, Lisa showed us incredible kindness and gave us the opportunity to come again. She shared the story again, and I'm absolutely sure the interview that went out, number 3, was even better than probably the first one we recorded. And we were so happy and so proud because she's won amazing awards for a woman in industry, for a great leader, and the characteristic of her leadership skills are just exceptional. So it was a real blessing to us, wasn't it?
The good,
Incredible.
absolutely, and the good thing is that because as always, every journey got the ups and downs. So that was one of our lessons. Number one, make sure that the internet
Is
is
good.
absolutely good.
Yep.
Later on, we had another issue where again, unfortunately, there was different reason, but again, unfortunately, due to technical issues, the episode wasn't great. Again, it was very embarrassing situation, but our guest was very understandable, and although the busy schedule, find time for us, which again show us that this is the real world of the leaders and the people who are seeing the big picture, who believe, who lend a hand, and who help others to grow. Which Ria story, we're talking about you. If you're listening us, no one would ever think that person like her will pay attention to Meri and Richard from Beyond Our Dreams.
She's an author, yeah.
Yeah,
I think
she's
her
an
book,
international speaker,
yeah,
leadership author, wrote lots of books.
based in the
Just
United States.
amazing woman, yes.
Yeah.
But she found time. I think we had 1 or 2 teams meetings just to arrange everything in terms of timing and hours. Unfortunately, failed first interview. After that, we did it again. But incredible. And this is where it's teaching us we shouldn't give up, and we
No.
need to know that things like that will happen. Just be honest, be open, and don't hide with anyone. Just go and start you on the right path with the right people. And Yeah, I would say that as well. We did have during the year here and there some
Little
problems
things.
with equipment here, but we managed. Episodes are going live and people like them, so we're doing well. We'll go just quickly and briefly through the episodes. If someone hasn't been to our channel, just to give them a bit flavor what it is. I think episode number 4, if I'm not wrong, is Dawn. A lady that I had the pleasure to work with on my workplace where I'm full-time working, but I haven't talked to her much or met her much. We mostly know her after that through the Chamber Commerce, isn't it? Meetings. So this is where I just reached. Actually, we reached to her, and she was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna come and join you." And we had an amazing conversation, and it was mind blowing that someone that probably I was in the same building for quite some time, I never knew what's going on in her life or what she'd been to and what she'd done. But I think it was a super story with great insights, good advices. Something that I remember is that you can do whatever you want when you're ready, isn't it? Not push, don't worry, don't get all this frustration. Once you're ready, you're going to go and do it. So after that, we've been to Dan and Owen.
Yeah, so we got invited to an event, which again was this. This is quite an interesting little story. So we got invited to this event. We'd contacted Dan and Anwin. They run a Wellbeing business, so we thought, well, this will be interesting. So it's a big subject across the world, and particularly in the UK in business. So many people are trying to create the right environment within their businesses for their employees. So we decided, well, that'd be a great idea. So we had a morning off, and we decided to go to one of their conferences. So we went to this workshop. So there we were. So it went along. So we thought we were just going to find out all about it. We ended up sitting in this workshop with like directors and HR directors from huge businesses. And there we were, and everyone was introducing themselves with these incredible speakers. And we were like, we sat down at the table and introduced yourself. So which company do you represent and what do you do? So everyone was a HR director, HR director, HR director.
They were owner of
the businesses. And there we were. Well, we just set up a podcast called Meet Your Inspiration, and we wanted to share the story about well-being. So anyway, there we were. We did the workshops with them, everybody, and we were included in the groups. And do you know what? It was really interesting, really incredible. We met some amazing people that day. But Dan and Anwin were just absolutely amazing to us. They gave us an incredible welcome. And then following on from that experience, and then we sat down a week or two later and we did the interview with them. And again, a really powerful interview. And we learned so much about work being in the workplace and mental well-being. And it's something that's reoccurring, the difficulties that people have in the workplace and how you motivate everyone. It's not just about putting beanbags or just having nice food, or it's about the whole business culture and making sure that everyone is understood. And you'll see that through many of the interviews that we've done, it comes up over and over again in business leaders. They constantly have a passion for making sure that their people are looked after and treasured, because their team, the business is the people. And that's the one thing which is common through all successful businesses, that the people are the key to that business. And Dan and Anwin really made that very clear in their interview, didn't they?
Yes, after obviously being there, the first person we met there was Chris, who of course ended up on our podcast because Chris got a really great story involving gambling and how he fell in that trap. But he's a lucky one who managed to escape, and now he is bringing awareness about it. And I was really amazed of the conversation that we had, because I even didn't realize how some of the things we exposed to or our children can easily take you to the gambling issues at some point. And here I will definitely mention and highlight the in-app purchases and all these kids gaming purchases in app. This is one of the things that can easily get to addiction if we some limits and parameters on it. Because it's very easy to, you have to pay another £20 for it. cards to carry on playing, or you have to do this for certain action to carry on, which definitely make you in that constantly press the button to pay. And at the end of the month or at the end of the year, you might be really surprised by the amount you spend for absolutely nonsense. So definitely it's a good episode where it's good people to have a listen from someone experienced and how he come out and all the insights that he can give about it.
And then nearly every employee within every business is probably exposed to some form of gambling, whether it's betting on sports, whether it's involved simple things like lottery and things, but there can be so many different addictions, and we've all got to be really cautious. So if you think you've got a situation in your workplace where you need someone to come in and talk about gambling, he's a really, really good speaker, and he runs some amazing workshops. So again, be a great recommendation. Another story which we were absolutely amazed. We saw this on LinkedIn, and we reached out to a gentleman on LinkedIn who became a solicitor. And to be fair, we were really interested because one of the things that people maybe don't do, but obviously is having their own will. So that's what he does. He helps people with probate and writing wills. But the most incredible thing about his story was to become a solicitor. He started off, he was working in McDonald's. So a very simple, straightforward job out of school. And he wanted to be a solicitor. And he spent 7 years working through to try and become a qualified solicitor. So an incredible story of determination, grit, and really fighting to get to his goal. And now not only is he a solicitor, but he also does a lot of speaking events as well, and he talks at many events. So again, it goes to show, doesn't matter what your background, wherever you start, what an incredible foundation he did.
Next one that I will highlight is Terry, our Royal Marine guy, who came here. And I think at some point me and Richard were thinking that when we are not part of this podcast, we're just watching it. Terry shared with us incredible story about his journey with Royal Marines. If you listen that, you will understand what mean teamwork. And you will understand what mean people actually being there for each other. As Terry as well said, there is no teamwork like that one. I believe lots of businesses can learn of and from these people because nowadays I do believe that we do have problems with that. Lots of people want to have their individuals to sparkle. We are losing the focus on working together, thinking that if it's team, because you have to share the success with the others, and there are lots of individuals that wouldn't want to do that.
And a lot of people as well, they bring in the word team, don't they? They'll sort of use the word team. Oh, well, obviously they want you to do something. So they say, well, obviously you are part of the team. But with Terry's examples, they are working as a unit. So maybe within the Marines, we're going out maybe in a group of 2 or 4, and they're going into a situation where they are looking, if they're on active duty, on a mission, they have to work together as a unit. That team is working completely. They look after each other, not only when they're in the element of the field and working together, because 2 of them are on lookout, maybe 2 of them are resting, but they're always looking out for each other. And the example was even when the guys go back to base, if one of them, maybe they go out and they have a few beers or something, they always make sure that the other man gets back. So they don't just leave them. They never abandon each other. They make sure that as a unit, they are absolutely depending on each other. Now that is real teamwork. And in business, if we can build teams within companies that actually rely on each other, work together, you will have such success. And that was one of the great things.
Actually, we've seen that. Obviously, visiting some of our guests and seeing their workplaces, we've noticed that. We've seen yes, most probably there are leaders over there who are trying to do this. So we encourage, and this podcast is for exactly this, to show the great examples, to share the experience, and to help and empower to have more teamwork, more dreams coming true, more people achieving success in one or another way, however they find the success for them. So Terry is sharing us great story. Obviously there was a difficulty after finishing this time with Royal Marine and jumping in the other corporate world, but we leave that to you to listen and to see how decide to use his knowledges. And now he's having a great company, which I believe big success is coming to it, because drones are becoming part of the future development in lots of areas. So good
surveying
luck,
particularly.
Terry, and we know that you will succeed.
Now, one of the things something that happens in a lot of families, and it's probably affects nearly every single family in the country and probably around the world, is when someone comes to you and they tell you they've got cancer. And our next guest, Jo, she had quite an incredible story, and it shows her resilience. She had a lovely family. She was successful. She had a really good career, and she had this huge setback when she was diagnosed with a really difficult and aggressive cancer. And Jo told us this amazing story. And part of her recovery process afterwards was going to have reflexology. So she tells us the story about reflexology and how it helped her with her recovery. And then she ended up at the end of it, she really enjoyed it so much and she really believed in it. So now she runs her own company and business doing reflexology and also helping others who are suffering with cancer too on their recovery. So incredible story, Jo. Thank you so much. And it was really, really moving and it really touched us both. So thank you for that. So again, another really inspirational story, finding a way to go through some of the most difficult times for her family, her children, but what resolve that she had. She was very blessed that she survived and the help that she had. But so again,
and that's why now she wants to give it back, and she's doing it in a great way. And this is another story that I know Jo for 10 years probably. And as well, I never knew the whole story behind. I never knew about all her lovely traveling experiences when she was young. And honestly, another example that go ask people around you questions. Everybody got stories. You can learn, you can follow their examples, and you never know where your inspiration will come from. So another proof that we are on the right track, and this podcast is doing exactly this.
absolutely.
After Jo, there is the guy, Nick. I think he's becoming the most known person in Kent since we met him on a network event, actually my first network event, where I was nervous enough, but I met him a bit more at the end.
You did.
And I remember this guy who sat next in front of me, and he was like, "You're not gonna leave this building before you download the app What's On in Kent." And I was like, what does he want from me? Why? Obviously, we met with him, we talked. It turned out that he's having his own business for over 20 years. But his story about creating What's On in Kent app, it's absolutely amazing. He came here.
He did.
For an interview. But that was funny morning, isn't it?
It was a really cool morning. And it was amazing because so Nick, he runs a courier business, and the story of the courier business and the people who, when he was working, well, he still runs the courier business. That's probably his main income. But also, we were like, it was really cool because when I've been talking to him, we're both a bit passionate about cars, and he was telling me about his involvement in a club for McLaren owners, and they organise trips to go across Europe and travel around in McLaren. So we were setting up in the room here, ready for the meeting, and all of a sudden I heard this sort of grumbly sort of V8 sort of engine sound, and I said to Mary, I said, I think Nick's just about to arrive, and this black McLaren appears outside, and there we look out the window, and there he was.
But he didn't look like himself, obviously. No. Like he was quite more in casual sport McLaren way. But yeah, we had a great conversation.
Fantastic.
And if I must be honest, since we met him, it's crazy that wherever we go in Kent, whatever event, whoever we're speaking with, always his name comes in.
Yeah.
So we always look at each other and we smile and we're like, okay, we had someone quite interesting on our podcast. But yeah, Nick is always quite helpful, supportive, and he's incredible, man. So yes, have a look on the episode number 11.
Yep.
And yes, if you are in Kent, go and check. I think they've got a website as well, but check the app, What's On in Kent. It's absolutely free, but give you a great idea what's happening around you just with a few clicks on your phone. So,
but he's got another app as well. So if you're on holiday and going to Ibiza, he also has a What's On in Ibiza app. So if you're going on holiday to Ibiza, download that app and you'll find out all the details, all the different events going on weekends, in the weekday, different restaurants, hotels, places to stay. It's all there. So both for Kent and for Ibiza, and I'm sure the what's
More
on,
are coming.
definitely more are coming.
Following that, another guest of ours was Caroline Hollett, who is leading the Kent Foundation
Yeah.
in Folkestone. Lovely woman with so much. We enjoy so much this conversation. She's got these vibes when she's talking, and she's another incredible woman, I would say, which was I absolutely love. Yeah, I've done that for these few years, then jump, do something else. And she was pub owner. She went in
Restaurants.
Germany and she create a network over there and
Yep.
different activities. Here she was project manager on a few things. In London she was working, and
Yep.
obviously now she's leading the Kent Foundation in Folkestone, who will celebrate their 40th anniversary next year, I think January, February next year. But if you are in Kent, if you are under 40, if you have an idea for business and you need some help in terms to set up, mentoring, any kind of questions,
Business
this
support.
is your place.
Yep.
I'm living in Kent for nearly 20 years and I never knew about this foundation. You can ask all your questions and you can have a support free from them. And if you are, or if you know someone who got the idea for the business but doesn't know how to start, just go and find them. You can easily find them on internet,
Yep.
all social medias as well, I think. And they're based in Folkestone. So win-win situation.
So our next guest, wow. So Lisa, she told us about her mentor, and she'd been speaking to this gentleman called David Chavot. Now, David, so he's an actor, he's a musician, he's a songwriter, he's written musicals,
Singer.
he's written books, he's also a leadership integrator. So he has got such a diverse background. And she said, "Oh, well, I'll put you on to David, and I'm sure he'd love to come on your podcast." So we were thinking, wow, this guy, he's been in like Peaky Blinders and many other series on television as an actor. Incredible gentleman, and what a privilege. And he said, yes, I'd really like to meet. So we met, we did our Teams meeting, we had a chat with him, and then we drove up to Nottinghamshire and we went to meet him. And wow, what an amazing interview. So that's our episode 13. Honestly, I think we've both watched it several times because like you end up watching it again, and it's just there's so much inspiration, such a great story, and of course being an actor, he's got such great characteristics, and he can just present in a most amazing way. So check out episode 13. What
But
an
one of
amazing.
the things here to mention is when Lisa said, "Oh, about David, my mentor, we're doing different workshops for the team."
Yep.
And when we check his website, I look at his website and I said, "No way, this guy can't find time for Meri and Richard because we still." I'm not saying that we're not going to get there, but still, if you go, we are building it. We are new. And here it comes the moment where you are reaching to the people, but you never know. But here comes Richard's advice as well. Always go and ask. Nothing will, you're not losing it. You're
No.
either going to win, either you will know that it's not for you or not at the moment. You're going to get experience or you're going to win. This is it. You're not losing it.
Yeah.
So we did reach. Obviously, we haven't heard from David, I think, for a little while, where we thought, okay, he's busy, probably
Yeah.
he just not gonna answer at the moment. Where a little bit later, bless him, he came back with amazing email where he said that obviously because of health problems and issues, he wasn't able to catch up with emails. He's more than welcome. And obviously everything that Richard said follow. And we were having this amazing chat with this guy who is so much down to earth, who is so welcoming and nice. And in the meantime, this guy write songs and he collaborate with the cast from the Lion King
Yeah.
movie, the guys who are singing the music, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah.
Incredible. And
Yeah.
his music, he wrote a music that is an anthem for the white lions in
Africa.
Africa.
Yep. And it's used across Africa for saving the lion and making sure they're not hunted. And it's
He's
become really such an
he's
important
got a really nice album. If you wanna listen on internet, you can find it. It's called Spark.
parks. Yep.
So amazing man.
Mm.
And it was interesting here. It's a bit funny thing, but when we started the podcast, my son was like, "Oh, mom, are you trying to go and interview very famous people and names?" And I was like, "No." He was like, "Why?" And I said, "No, because our idea is not to go and to interview the people that everybody know already and know their stories. Our aim is to go to the people who are around us, people that you never know or heard about them or you don't know them, but their story is equally amazing and inspirational, and everybody can learn from." So although I was saying that, David definitely go in the other bracket
You
of
did.
people who are a bit more known,
Yeah.
but definitely his personality was absolutely amazing. Thank you, David, if you listen to us.
Now, our next guest we found on LinkedIn, and we were absolutely amazed with her story. Septia is from Indonesia, and she wanted to study. She was doing media in Indonesia, but she wanted to study media in France. Now, obviously, in Indonesia, French is not a language that really would be known, and if she was going to study in France, she had to learn French. Now, French, obviously, here we are based in England. We're sharing all our stories in English, and not many people in England are very good at learning French, even though you might do it at school. But for her, she almost had none. So she had to learn to speak French to be able to do her degree in
Amazing.
journalism. Yeah. So what an incredible story. Now, she got refused 7 times to get into a university. And as she tells the story, she tells us why, because obviously she was learning the language and she needed to perfect the language. But her determination and grit got her to that point, and she got her qualification, and she achieved it. And again, what an incredible story of determination and like just fighting through. Amazing, absolutely incredible. So we thought she was such an incredible inspiration, and again, a great episode to listen. So thank you, Septia. And we know now she's running her own business. She married a Frenchman, and they're living in the Netherlands. So she's now in a new country where luckily they speak good English, and obviously her French is obviously improving, being married to a Frenchman. But she's now doing a different business, which is foundation through LinkedIn. So doing copywriting, and again, you'll check her out on LinkedIn. But she's growing and growing and running a successful business through LinkedIn. So again, a really inspirational story.
And after that, we had Dan Francis, a really nice guy who is dealing with SEO in a Google engine optimization, if I'm
Search
search, yeah,
engine
but about
optimization
Google,
for Google.
I would say,
Absolutely.
yeah, this
Yep.
is what I mean.
Yep.
So absolutely amazing, fantastic story, so easygoing. And actually, he's the one that I met on my first network event, the
Yep.
first person that I met when I was shaking and I was worried and I was like, "Oh, what I'm doing here." It was so chilled and so nice, and we started a good conversation, three of us. And yeah, a few months later, he ended up sitting here and telling us his absolutely amazing story, which I love it. And yes, Dan is another inspiration that join us. And thank you very much, whoever is interested of
If they
yeah.
need to grow their website.
Yes,
Yeah.
if you need, yeah, he's dealing with websites and obviously
And he's also moving into LinkedIn. So to help people with their LinkedIn to improve their search engine optimization on LinkedIn, again, he'll be able to help you with that as well. So particularly if you're based in Kent and you're growing your business, either you need to improve your Google profile or your LinkedIn profile, contact Dan, and I'm sure you'll find. Please do check out that episode.
we come to episode 16 where we had the pleasure to speak with the Queen of
Hearts.
Hearts and Leadership, Rebecca Shannon, a coach, that leadership coach, lady who is walking in the room and she's bringing all the vibes and the positive energy. Another story of a woman that I know over 3 years, but we never spoke too much about what we're doing. She sat down here and we had an incredible conversation.
Really good.
She gave us so many insight, ideas, advices, even after that. Obviously, our connection is growing, and absolutely admire her openness. She was very open and honest about her journey. And all these people that been for the last year here and with us, they show us quite a few things for sure. Definitely, you don't need to be too much academic to succeed.
Absolutely.
You don't need all these universities.
No.
I'm not saying they're not good. Some of them are doing their some studying now over 50 years old.
Yep.
But I'm saying that when you decide to do something, don't stop yourself because I haven't achieved certain degree, I can't do it. No, if you've got that,
There's no limits to
but
it.
exactly, there is no limit,
Yeah.
and you can study at every point.
Mm.
This is the other thing that I would say, and I've seen in all of them, that all of them are constantly continuing to develop. No, but none of our guests stop at some point. And this is something I read somewhere, that if you stop to develop your skills, you just stop
You should fall
in
backwards.
general.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
just go backwards.
All of them are doing, they're finding their way. Either it's going to be personal development, either will be some specific skills, but don't stop. And always use your, whatever your knowledge is, your skills, know that this is your power, and you
Absolutely.
definitely can go and use it somewhere.
I mean, all of these people, they all have an incredible passion and energy, and they're all driven. I mean, that's the one thing. But it's a lot of people in the workplace. They go to work, and it's not easy because they don't have a passion for the work. And some of these people, they realise. I mean, Dan was a great example. He was doing something, although he wanted to find success, but he didn't. His passion and his drive wasn't there for that particular business. And I think, well, in fact, both Dans, because our first Dan as well with Dan and Anwin, again, he was the same. He was very good at his job. He working in retail, but he could see there was something else that was going to drive him, and that's the thing. And once you find your passion project, once you find the thing that really motivates you and makes you want to get out of bed in the morning to do your job and to do something that make it really successful, that's incredibly empowering, and it gives you such a strength and a real confidence. And it's the same for us with this project. We're growing every day. We're more enthusiastic about it every day. The people we're meeting, the opportunities that have come our way because of doing this project, it's just amazing. And all we'd like to do is to share that with you guys and find your way and find your passion and your energy.
Sometimes you have to start walking and the path will start to appear. Few key things are to have the right people around you, to keep your mindset to your go and to know where you're going, and to keep learning. There is always, once you start, just you start to attract. I do believe in law of attraction so much, and this project is great example of it. None of us knew last October where we're gonna go. I really thought that it's gonna be a very small thing on the side that we're gonna do. All my life, I wanted to do something for the others. I wanted to be able to help in one or another way, but I didn't know the format that's gonna come, the way how it's gonna happen. And when this line up, it was like, wow, this is it. You don't have the limits. You've got this phone and you can reach to so many people around the world. And we actually had a great feedback from people really around the world, which
Absolutely, yeah.
nobody would think it will happen. So we do believe that we are on the right path. And every single day we meet someone new, and that person will invite us to an event, or someone will introduce us somewhere where, if we carry on our usual
Yeah, we
daily
never meet these
jobs,
people.
we would never meet them.
No.
Although they might live on our street, in our town, or somewhere close, or probably you've been in the same room with them at some point, but you didn't have the chance to meet them. So, as I think David and
Yep,
Rebecca mentioned, leave the space for the creation to happen.
absolutely.
Be open for it and give a chance to all these good things to happen in your life.
Yeah, the key thing is to surround yourself with positive people. If you surround yourself with the people who are like-minded, who share the passion, share the ideas, and people who will encourage you, you will find you'll just flourish so much quicker. The most important thing in any business, in any opportunity, is the people you have around you, and you can grow really quickly with the right people around you because they will encourage you to flourish and to find your pathway. So just don't forget, everyone can do it, and you can all find your success.
And I'll tell you just quickly a few more things that we did. And obviously, I can't believe I did them, but I would say that Richard became my mentor without even me thinking about it. He's giving me good advices and he's telling me what way or how I can do the things, because if you don't know, I'm the passion for this project and he's the experience. So definitely he had this good influence on me. And I won't forget, I was watching something on the news on the Bulgarian TV, and it come up really short, like a film about a lady that is living in Canada that is absolutely fantastic photographer. And I listened about that, and she really, her work is amazing. They had a little interview with her. I wrote her name down. And I was like, okay, what? I want to speak with this woman. And I told him, do you think this is a good idea? He said, yeah, let's try to reach her. Let's see what we can do. Try her on LinkedIn. Okay, I went. I wrote her name. She's on LinkedIn. Next thing, message. Third thing, she replied to me. And you won't believe it, but it turned out that me and her, we've got common cousins.
Yeah,
Which was no way. Obviously we both from Bulgaria, different cities. I'm living in UK. She's in Canada. Something on the news on the TV. Boom. But you need to make the step. Nobody will come and will do it for you. You have to show up. So the magic can happen and the things can happen. So yeah, hopefully next year she is
yeah. Emma,
coming on
we're
the.
looking forward to meeting you again, Emma. So
With
we'll
her,
see.
it's a bit difficult because of the work that she's got and
She's
the
traveling all the
timing and
time.
everything, but I'm pretty sure it will happen when it needs to happen. So I don't know. This is our
This is our story for this last year. So 1 year
1 year
beyond our
involved lots
dreams.
of learning, lots of people that we met, lots of inspiration for us, and we are carrying on with much more passion for the next year. So
Absolutely. So if you want to meet your inspiration, we would just ask you, please do follow us on Spotify. Please do subscribe on our YouTube channel, the Meet Your Inspiration podcast on YouTube. And please do give us a like. We'd really appreciate your support and your follow. And if you have been following us already and watching the episodes, thank you so much. We really appreciate that support. And we look forward to sharing many more exciting stories again in the year ahead. So from Meri and Rich, it's thank you very much and have a lovely day. Take care.